Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's time to break down the games for Sunday, April 7th. But first, let's take a look at how we did yesterday. We started out with a win with the Athletics at plus 143. However, then we lost like the next 5 or 6 bets that we placed, so it was looking pretty dismal. But then at night, we got super hot. The Rays, Padres, and Red Sox all win. We had an Alvarez Soto Seager prop bet that won, and then we hit both of the final 4 games. We had the under in both of them. We end up winning $199 on the day. It's 40% of what we were down for the month. So now we're only down $305. I mean, that's a little over 3 units. That's nothing. We can get that back today. So let's start looking at the games. The first 2 games of the day are the Baltimore Orioles at the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Philadelphia Phillies at the Washington Nationals. First, in the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game, it's Dean Kramer versus Marco Gonzalez. Neither pitcher has pitched against the other team in the last 2 years. Gonzalez, in his first time out, he faced Washington. They got the win. He went 5 innings and gave up 1 run. Kramer, in his first start of the year, he faced Kansas City. He went just over 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, and Baltimore got the win. Both teams' bullpen ERA is under 2.8. Both teams score 6 runs a game. In this one, I think it's best to just stay away. I think it's really close. I would probably lean Orioles. They are a slight favorite at minus 125, so you don't have to lay a lot of juice, but I'm probably just going to stay away from this one. And then in the next game, it's Philadelphia versus Washington, Christian Sanchez versus Mackenzie Gore. Philadelphia's up in the series 2-0, so they're going for the sweep. I usually don't like to bet with the sweep. However, Sanchez last year against Washington, he was 1-1. He pitched 12 innings, giving up 5 runs, only 3 of which were earned. Mackenzie Gore against Philadelphia last year was 0-3. He pitched 14 innings and gave up 16 runs. So he actually pitched under 14 innings. I think he was like 13 and a third. And gave up 16 runs. So he got rocked. I made a lot of money last year betting on Mackenzie Gore first 5. Washington was obviously looked at as one of the worst teams in the league last year. So they were always like heavy pluses, and I made a lot of money betting Gore first 5. However, he's just failed against Philadelphia so much. The Philadelphia bullpen ERA does kind of scare me. It's at 7. However, in this series, they've pitched 6 1/3 innings of no runs. So they've obviously been a much better team. Also, they're both left-handed pitchers, and Philadelphia against lefties averages 6.4 runs per game so far this year, and obviously a very small sample size, but Washington against lefties only averages a run and a half, so they do much better against righties. So I'm going to take the Philadelphia Phillies in this one at minus 155, and then I like JT Realmuto to get a hit, and Trey Turner over 1.5 total bases. Lifetime against Mackenzie Gore, Realmuto has a 300 average with a home run, and Turner's hitting 556 against them. The next 2 games to look at are the Arizona Diamondbacks at the Atlanta Braves and the Toronto Blue Jays at the New York Yankees. First, in the Arizona-Atlanta game, the series is 2-0 Atlanta right now, but both of the wins were 1-run games. These teams are very close so far. Obviously, the last 2 games have shown that. Both teams average over 6.5 runs a game. Both teams have a bullpen ERA under 2.8. For the Diamondbacks, they're going to put Ryan Nelson on the mound. He actually faced the Braves twice last year. He went 1-1. He pitched just under 12 innings, giving up 5 runs. Chris Sale is going to go for the Braves. He actually did face Arizona last year. He got the win. He went 5 innings, giving up 1 run when he was with the Red Sox last year. In their first starts this year, Ryan Nelson couldn't get out of the 3rd inning. He went 2 2/3, giving up 5 runs. Sale went 5 1/3, giving up 2 runs. Both of their teams lost those games. I kind of think the Braves are going to win this one, and they're minus 220, though. That's a very heavy minus. So since it's so close, I kind of like Arizona because you get such a huge plus, and since it is close, if Arizona can pull it out, you're getting really good value there. So since I'm so conflicted, I think it's best to just stay away. And then in the Blue Jays-Yankees game, that series is tied 1-1 so far. You have Bowden Francis on the mound for Toronto and Luis Gil on the mound for the Yankees. Neither one has faced the opponent. I think Gil might have had a start like 3 years ago. Obviously, he didn't pitch in the majors last year. Francis pitched in that game where the Blue Jays got no hit. However, I don't think it really mattered. He went 5 1/3, giving up 7 runs, so they would have gotten the loss anyways, even if they were hitting probably. And then Luis Gil, he went 4 2/3, only giving up 1 run against the Diamondbacks in a game that the Yankees eventually ended up winning. In this one, the Yanks bullpen is a full 2 ERA less than the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays have an over 4 ERA. The Yanks bullpen is like right at 2. Both teams average under 4 runs a game. However, the Blue Jays average under 3 runs a game against right-handers, so they've been better against lefties. So with all that, I think I'll take the Yankees on the money line at minus 155. The next 2 games to look at are the New York Mets at the Cincinnati Reds and the Oakland Athletics at the Detroit Tigers. First, in the New York-Cincinnati game, it's Sean Manaea against Andrew Abbott. Manaea did not pitch against the Reds last year. However, Andrew Abbott had 1 start against the Mets. The Reds got the win. However, Abbott only went 3 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs with 3 walks and 91 pitches thrown. So he was a little wild that day and couldn't go very long in the game. However, this year, Andrew Abbott went 5 1/3 innings in his 1 start, giving up 2 runs and a Reds win. Manaea against Detroit looked really good. He went 6 innings, no runs, only giving up 1 hit and walking 2 with 8 strikeouts. In the first game of the year that Abbott pitched, we actually had the Reds' first 5, and we're going to run it back again with the Reds' first 5. Abbott gave up 2 runs in the first and then didn't give up any runs after that. However, the Reds could not score at all, so I think the Reds can get to Manaea a little bit in this game. And then this game, we're going to take first 5 because there's just a lot of things that are strange in this game. So first, the Mets bullpen ERA is like just over 2. The Reds bullpen ERA is over 5. However, in this series, the Reds bullpen has pitched 7 innings, only giving up 3 runs, and the Mets bullpen has 6 1/3 innings, giving up 8 runs, 7 of which were earned. So even though the Mets bullpen is better, it's not been better in this series. And then also, since he scores 3 more runs per game than the Mets, however, against lefties, they score 2 less runs per game, and Manaea's a lefty. So I'm not sure really where this game is going to pan out in the end, but I think the Reds can have the lead after the first 5. And then we'll take Jonathan India and Spencer Steer each to get a hit in the game. Jonathan India hits leadoff. He gets 5 at-bats. We've put him in many hit props already this year, and he's come through every time. I don't think he's ever been the cause of us losing a hit prop. And then Spencer Steer's hitting 448 early on in the year, a righty bat. He has 3 home runs too, so I think that both of those guys can get a hit against the lefty Manaea. And then the Oakland-Detroit game, we like the Tigers' money line at minus 190. We'll probably try to find a parlay partner because we don't like to lay more than minus 180. But in this one, the series is tied 1-1. Detroit's been pretty good this year. They're 6-2 on the year. I just don't see them losing the series at home to Oakland. So that's really the theory on that one. Boyle on the mound. He went 2 2/3 in his first time out against the Red Sox, giving up 7 runs. Flaherty actually looked really good against the White Sox. He went 6 innings, only giving up 1 run. Obviously, the White Sox are pretty weak this year, but still, Flaherty looked really good. So we're going to go with Detroit minus 190. And then we're going to take Parker Meadows and Riley Green each to get a hit in the game. Both these guys have struggled. They both have averages under 150. So, I mean, they're not like hot or anything like that, but they're both lefties against Boyle, the righty, on the mound at home. And like I said, Boyle really gave up a lot of hits in his last start. So I think it's a good time for those guys to turn it around, those 2 lefty bats. So we'll take both those guys to get a hit. The next 2 games up are the Cleveland Guardians at the Minnesota Twins and the Chicago White Sox at the Kansas City Royals. First, in the Cleveland-Minnesota game, I think this game is really close. I'm going to take the Guardians plus 110 on the plus line. It's Tristan McKenzie against Bailey Ober. Last year, McKenzie missed most of the year because of injury. However, he did get 1 start against the Twins. He went 5 innings, giving up no runs and striking out 10, so he's pretty dominant. However, Bailey Ober was very dominant against Cleveland. He got 2-0, 13 innings, no runs. But Minnesota won both games 2-0 and 1-0. So Minnesota didn't score a lot of runs. Bailey Ober had to hold them, and he did. So that is pretty good from the past history. However, this year McKenzie went 3 1/3 innings, giving up 5 runs, 4 of which were earned in a loss to Seattle. Bailey Ober couldn't get out of the second inning. He went an inning and a third, giving up 8 runs to Kansas City. Both bullpens have a sub 1.6 ERA, so whichever team does have the lead is probably going to win the game. You have Cleveland averaging 6.3 runs a game to Minnesota's 3.3. So the Cleveland offense is off to a way better start right now. And then also they're both righties. Against right-handers, Cleveland averages 5.8 runs a game, so about a half a run less. But Minnesota averages 2.5 runs a game, almost a full run less against right-handers. So I think it's best to just take McKenzie in this one with the plus money since it's so close. I think it will be close. If Minnesota has the lead after 5 or Minnesota wins the game, it wouldn't shock me, but I'm going to rock with the Cleveland Guardians at plus 110. And then the Kansas City-Chicago game, this one, the series is 3-0 Kansas City. They're going for the 4-game sweep at home. And this one, I think I'm just going to stay away. I think it's best to bet nothing. Marsh looked really good his first time out against Baltimore, obviously one of the top teams in the league. He only gave up 1 run in a win. And Crochet, though, has looked really good in his 2 starts. He's 1-1 with a 1.38 ERA in his first 2 starts. He has looked like a bona fide ace. He never started before, and all of a sudden he just comes out guns a-blazing. So I think that we should just stay away from this game. I probably would lean Kansas City, especially with the White Sox putting Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert. They're 2 big bats on the IL, so they're not going to play. So Kansas City at -120, such a low minus. You don't have to lay a lot of juice to take Kansas City. But once again, with Crochet pitching as well as he has, I think it's just best to stay away and bet nothing. The next 2 games up are the Seattle Mariners at the Milwaukee Brewers and the Miami Marlins at the St. Louis Cardinals. First, in the Seattle-Milwaukee game, it's Hancock against Ray. Hancock looked pretty good his first time out. He went a little over 5 innings, giving up 3 runs and a win against Cleveland. Ray also looked good in his one outing. He went 5 innings, 1 run against the Mets and a win. Hancock never faced Milwaukee before. Ray did face Seattle. He went 5 innings, 4 runs, and a loss against Seattle. Milwaukee, everything looks like Milwaukee is the team to bet here. Milwaukee is over 1.5 runs per game better. Milwaukee's bullpen ERA is a full 2.00 less than Seattle's. However, Milwaukee does score 2 runs per game less against right-handers, so they've fared much better against lefties. Overall, I do think Seattle is the better team. If you would ask me preseason, I would say Seattle is the better team. So I kind of want to take Seattle here. But then I was looking for hit props to take, and like the entire Seattle team is hitting under 200. All the lefties, like I just could not find any hitters to take in a hit prop in this one. I guess I would take Yelich. She's just red hot. But overall, I'm just going to stay away from the game. And then in the Miami-St. Louis game, it's another one I'm going to stay away from. Miami still does not have a win. They're the only winless team left. They're going to win one eventually. I don't have a lot of faith in Gibson, but obviously Miami's bullpen has been terrible. So even if Miami does get a lead, they blow it almost every time. Not almost every time. That's why they're winless. So I think it's best to just stay away. Eventually Miami is going to win. I don't want to be the one, to be on the wrong side of a Miami win when they win their first game. So I'll just stay away. The next 2 games to look at are the Los Angeles Dodgers at the Chicago Cubs and the Tampa Bay Rays at the Colorado Rockies. First, in the Dodgers-Cubs game, I like the Cubs -110. It's Stone against Imanaga. Stone pitched 5 innings, giving up 3 runs and a win over St. Louis in his first outing. But Imanaga had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning. He ended up going 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, no walks, and 9 strikeouts. He looked really strong. Obviously, it was against Colorado, which is a much weaker team than the Dodgers are. But being that it's at home, the series is tied 1-1. The Cubs actually average more runs per game than the Dodgers do. Both bullpens have a lot to be desired. Both of them have an ERA over 5 and under 5.2 to start the season. So I think both these teams actually, from a metric standpoint, are pretty close. I hate getting the Cubs at -110. Very rarely are you going to get a Dodgers opponent that's not in the plus just because they're the best team in the league. But because this matchup is so favorable, it's a coin flip. So I'm going to take the coin with the home team and take the Cubs. And then I like Cody Bellinger and Michael Busch to each get a hit. They're lefties against the righty, both former Dodgers. So I think they're going to come out and spurn their former team. And then the Tampa Bay-Colorado game, I'm going to keep it really simple. Yesterday I said I like Tampa Bay just because they lost the first game of the series, and there's no way they were going to lose a series to Colorado, and so they had to win the next 2 games. Well, they won yesterday. It wasn't easy. They were down 6-1, and then they scored 2 in the 7th and 5 in the 8th to pull out the victory. So I'm just going to rock with them again. So we're going to take Tampa Bay Rays -160. The next 2 games to look at are the San Diego Padres at the San Francisco Giants and the Boston Red Sox at the Los Angeles Angels. First, in the San Diego-San Francisco game, it's Waldron against Webb. Waldron actually faced San Diego last year. He went 6 innings, 2 runs in a San Diego win. Webb faced San Francisco last year. He went complete game, 1 run in a San Francisco win. And he also faced San Diego earlier this year. He went 6 innings, 2 runs, and the bullpen got the loss. San Diego scores a full 1 run per game more. Both bullpens have an ERA over 5.8, so whoever has the lead going into the late games doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to win. But Logan Webb is the better pitcher. He's making his home debut. I'm going to take San Francisco -170. And then I also like Conforto and Wade Jr. each to get a hit. They're both lefties against Waldron, the righty. They have a few at-bats against him with some marginal success, so not a big sample size for either one of them. So I'm just going to rock with the two lefties to get a hit in this one. And then the Boston LA game. This game is really close. I think the line is like minus 115 and minus 105. Yesterday, we said this game was really close and we were going to stay away. However, we got off to such a mediocre start that we ended up adding LA minus 120 yesterday, and it worked out for us. We got the win. In this one, we leaned Boston. Yesterday, I said I leaned the Angels and then ended up putting it on my final play. So this time I'm going to lean Boston if I end up putting it on my final play. But as of right now, I'm going to stay away. Houck had 10 innings with 3 runs against LA last year, and they split 1-1. Silseth has never faced Boston before. In his first time out, Silseth went 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned. Houck went 6 innings, no runs with 10 Ks, but it was against Oakland. Both teams score under 5 runs a game. However, Boston's bullpen ERA is 1.17 to Los Angeles' 5.59. So if the game is close or if LA has a small lead, it doesn't mean they're necessarily going to win. Boston's bullpen can maybe hold them, and LA's bullpen is unsteady. So, I think it's best to just stay away from this one for now and then watch for my final plays to see if I end up adding Boston. The last game of the night is the Sunday night game of the week, guys. It's the Houston Astros at the Texas Rangers. It's going to be that Ronald Blanco against Dane Dunning. Blanco obviously pitched a no-hitter his last time out. He did pitch against the Astros last year. He went 5 innings, 3 runs. Dunning, he did not face the Astros last year. However, 2 years ago, and the Astros pretty much have the same lineup as they did 2 years ago, he had 3 starts against them. The team went 1-2. He pitched 16 2/3 innings, though, giving up 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. One of the losses that they got, he gave up no runs, so it was the bullpen that got the loss. Dunning pitched 6 1/3 innings his first time out. He gave up 3 runs against Tampa Bay. He did walk 4, so he was a little wild. In this one, I like the Texas Rangers money line at minus 115. I think the big reason why I like the Rangers money line on this one is Blanco had 105 pitches in his first outing. And usually in your first outing, you don't throw that much. Obviously, he was in the middle of that no-hitter, so they let him keep going. Probably pitched more pitches than they planned on him pitching. So I think maybe his might be a little bit tired in this time around. So I'll take Texas. And then I like Jonah Heim and Jared Walsh to each get a hit, and Corey Seager over 1.5 total bases. All 3 of them are lefties against Blanco, the righty. So I think that's a good maybe player prop that we can take in the Sunday night game. Okay, that does it for today, guys. Please leave a comment and let me know what you think of the analysis. Let me know if you're tailing me or you're fading me. Right now, if you're fading me, you're probably up a couple dollars, but in the long run, if you're tailing me, I think we're going to be okay. We're only down a little over 3 units, guys. It's a long month, so we're going to be up multiple units by the end of the month. And then if you click that like and subscribe button, it's going to go a long way for me as I try to launch this channel. I'm going to, change things up. We're going to put new and different content. I'm just trying to get the information out now so you guys can be more informed when you're placing your bets. There's a lot of things I want to do with this channel, but it starts with me getting some likes and some subscribers so that the channel can grow. And then if you click on that notification bell, you'll get notified when I post my videos. I try to post them really early in the morning so that you guys have all the information before you place your bets, let you know which ways I'm leaning. And then, like I said, if you want to fade me or follow me, you have your choices there. And then if you follow me on X, formerly Twitter, and on Instagram at Sportsbook Whisper, Sportsbook with no vowels, that's where I post my final plays. I've said it before, like these are my leans. These are the things I monitor throughout the day. But once I see lineups posted, if there's any injuries or anything like that, I can modify. Maybe I'll add something. Maybe I'll subtract some things. So make sure you're following me there to get the final plays. And then it's time to get the game started pretty soon, guys. Hopefully we're going to have a big day today. We need to come back. Maybe we can be even, maybe even up a unit by the end of the day. We need a monster day. So I'll see you all tomorrow.